You see it now? There we go.
Yes, I see it now.
Okay. And is the video good? I can't see it. Oh, let me send. There we go. Okay. There goes half the time allotted. Okay. Thank you so much. So I won't take too much time. It's a bit sunny out here. Okay, so this is just a quick lightning talk on LDPv6 deployment in the CCOM network over the last few months. It's not yet totally done, but we can just talk a little bit about what's happening so far. Just a little bit of history. LDPv6, which is Label Distribution Protocol version 6, began as that draft from Vishwas Manral in 08. Essentially, LDPv6 is like LDPv4, but just for IPv6. So it provides an MPLS control plane for IPv6, which means in theory you should be able to do everything in IPv6 for MPLS that you can or could for IPv4. It eventually became an RFC almost 7 years later. In 2015 as RFC 7552. So it's officially official. In terms of support across traditional vendors, Juniper have had it since 2015. Cisco first released it on their XR platform in 2015 as well. Nokia also do have support, as well as HP and Huawei, as well as Arcus, for those of you who might know the new outfit from San Jose. One thing to note, though, is that the very popular iOS XE doesn't yet support LDPv6, and in fact, as far as I know, there's no plans for them to support LDPv6. So it's a bit of a shame because that's a bit of a current box, and it's quite widely deployed. So they obviously have other plans, which I think is for a whole other discussion. So just a basic example of what it looks like in the wild. This is a trace route I did from this morning. As you can see, this is native MPLS forwarding of IPv6 traffic. So that basically means that all the IPv6 traffic between this host and the rest of the backbone is happening in MPLS natively. It means that you do not require to have a full BGPv6 routing table in the core. And as you can see from hop 1 all the way to hop 4 rather, which is the last edge node in our network, as you hand off to Yahoo's network, you would see that there's MPLS labels at each hop, load balancing as well, and that's for IPv6 traffic. So that's IPv6 traffic in practice being forwarded natively in MPLS, not via 6PE or 6VPE or any other kind of tunneling. This is native IPv6 forwarding in MPLS. So what doesn't yet work in LDPv6? Obviously, some high-level services that you are traditionally used to in LDPv4, so layer 2 VPNs, layer 3 VPNs, eVPNs, multicast VPNs, and also RSVPTE like traffic engineering and so forth, fast reroutes, all that can't yet be signaled natively in IPv6 over LDPv6. And the reasons for that can be found in RFC 7439, which basically looks at what it would take to get an IPv6 only network ready to support MPLS. And this is an assumption based on the fact that you can't get any more IPv4 publicly going forward, and maybe you don't want to use 6PE or 6VPE. So then why do it? So especially in our case, for example, we already do LDPv4 traffic forwarding in the core. That means we don't run BGP for IPv4 in the network. So with this, you can also remove IPv6 from the network and still maintain a native dual stack infrastructure, and basically simplify your core a little bit further. That's one of the reasons, because right now you can't use it for any other services. So you get a lot of capability and a lot of flexibility in just forwarding IPv6 natively through it. So this is what you can do with LDPv6 for now. Obviously, it comes along with fast reroute and loop-free ultimate and so on and so forth. Things to watch out for that I could probably talk about very briefly here is if you're running it on iOS XR, you want at least iOS XR 6 as a minimum, because before then, it was only assuming a single stack. So either you do v4 only or v6 only, but not both. So if you run a dual stack network, and say you have a Juniper that's running LDPv6 in dual stack mode, and you have AIS'20 running it in single stack mode, then they won't talk to each other. So that was fixed with the dual stack TLV features added in AIS'20 6 and later, both for CRS and AS9K and all these other platforms from Cisco that run AIS'20.